Well, guys, we do have some updates regarding the College Football 25 video game. A lot of people recently played it, and now I guess they are all able to talk about it, and there's a lot of details that some people are certainly not happy about. There was a big revelation that came out today in regards to this game, but when it comes to the Road to Glory mode, which is what we're going to focus on here during the first half of this video, a lot of details coming out about that. One of the things that they were quick to note is that Road to Glory is a 10 to 20 hour story mode, meaning it should take 10 to 20 hours of gameplay to complete. That's a pretty short amount of time for a career mode, but it's part of the uniqueness of a college football game where you can play 4 years or 5 if you redshirt as a freshman. And no, there is not the COVID year in the video game. Thank God for that, right? Imagine trying to play 7 or 8 years. Well, actually, I think even without the pandemic year, based on how things are with the transfer portal, you might be able to play 6 years. I'm not sure on that. As such, they wanted to make it an extremely replayable mode. Now, see, this is all jargon that's basically saying they didn't put a lot of effort into the Road to Glory. And let me just be honest, me personally, I want all the effort to go into the Dynasty mode. That's just me. So I'm just saying from this article, EA invites these people to go there. They're going to try and spin it in a positive direction, but it does seem like, oh, it's replayable. We wanted it to be short. That was done on purpose. No, they really did. It just looks like they really didn't put much time into it. You can see you'll no longer start in high school. That's what a lot of people are pissed off about. And what is the point of Road to Glory if you're not starting in high school? This is an immersive video game. You have it in NCAA 14, you don't have it 10 years later. It really doesn't make sense. What's the point of playing as a recruit if you're not starting in high school, growing as a legitimate recruit, building your profiles, getting offers? So, look, guys, when it comes to Road to Glory, to me, it seems like a flop. Again, I really don't play it much, so it's not a big deal for me, but you can see instead picking your level. See, it's just dumb. You're not going to start in high school. You get to pick your level as a recruit to determine how hard the grind will be for playing time. If you're a 5-star, you're going to be a 79 overall, a 4-star 75 overall, a 3-star 70 overall, or a 2-star 65 overall. I mean, I guess there could be some good content there for people. You could start as a 65 overall, try and become a Heisman winner. Imagine trying to win like 2 Heismans as a 65 overall or starting as a 65. You could do some stuff with that. But it's just, not having that high school element. Obviously, people are not going to be too happy about it. And then here's some more info. Dynasty mode will be 30 seasons and 32 user teams, which I don't think people are too angry about. Some people were like, it should be longer. I mean, if you're playing over 30 seasons, man, with one team, I mean, look, I like doing it where you play multiple decades because then you can build a team up to be like a blue blood. Like if you take over a team and you have like a 25-year span, you can win like 7 or 8 national titles. I like doing that. But over 30 seasons, I mean, sometimes in like a simulation game, I will play to like 2070. A few different times I've done that, but it's not surprising that they limit it to 30 seasons. Custom conferences, obviously, and that's something you can do a ton with. You can make so many different conferences. I did hear a rumor, and it's not in this tweet, but there's possibly a limit to 20 teams per conference, which really surprised me considering the Big Ten might go over 20 teams this year in terms of real life. So I think if you are going to you really shouldn't put a limit on custom conferences. Like people should be able to make 30-team conferences, 40-team conferences. That was just a rumor I heard. Maybe it's wrong. I don't know. Generic FCS schools are in Dynasty. And obviously that would be a total flop if they weren't. We get a lot of FBS versus FCS matchups. Alabama facing FCS teams. Sometimes Big Ten teams face FCS teams. It's only realistic. Even if you're a powerhouse, you will probably schedule an FCS team. It's just the way college football is. So that's good. That's realistic. Skill tree returns from NCAA 14. I know a lot of people are happy about that. NIL does not exist in Dynasty mode. And so this is what I said yesterday. I said they were going to be very conservative about the way they rolled out NIL. And apparently they're just scrapping, trying to include that element into the game completely, which doesn't surprise me because people, I'm guessing, the only way I could see them including NIL is if they put like a difficulty next to it. You could play like regular difficulty for NIL, hardened difficulty, because it's impossible to really predict NIL and losing players. It's not really like the game knows that, oh, this 5-star recruit only got 52 snaps his true freshman year, now he's angry and he has to leave. It seems like it would be really random, and it really wouldn't make sense what the computer, not just for your teams, but for other teams, would be doing. Like, I think you would get a 5-star quarterback who, as a true freshman, throws for like 32 touchdowns, going into the transfer portal and getting a better NIL deal, which really wouldn't happen in real life. You know, if you're a true freshman and you're starting for a good team, you're not going to transfer. It's unrealistic. So I'm guessing the NIL was very hard to implement. So it's not going to be a dynasty mode. And I don't think that's a big deal. I think NIL would have been a pain in the ass to deal with and manage. And you also cannot export draft classes in Madden, but apparently you can export your Road to Glory player. So it's not the draft classes, but it is the Road to Glory player. That's another update on that. And then here's more updates. Passing and kicking are revamped, similar to current Madden. Oh yeah, this is another thing that people were talking about. Basically, anyone that got invited to play this video game, one of the first things they'll say is it's completely different from Madden. And people have kind of picked up on that, and they're saying, well, you know, obviously they're going to say that. You know, it's like EA almost wanted to hammer home and tell these people who got invited to play the game by EA, which is a very nice gesture, and this is what EA does, is they'll invite people, and obviously if you get invited by EA and it's a free thing, you're obligated to say, oh, this is a really good game. People are saying, well, EA's telling them to say that. You know, we'll see what ends up happening with the game. I don't really know, but it seems like they're all saying it's different from Madden, and I'm sure it is different. I hope it is. Playbooks are unique and different from Madden. In-game visuals and details are unique. Penn State whiteout. So, yeah, but where is the actual detail on something like the Penn State whiteout? This is what I want. There needs to be a full customization, and this is why it's also vague. Yes, obviously there's going to be a whiteout in the game. That would be disturbing if there wasn't. But if you're in a dynasty mode with Penn State, you should be able to schedule when you want your whiteout. You should be able to schedule a stripe, thing where you have half the stadium wears one color, the other half of the stadium wears the other color. That should also be something that's customizable to where you can schedule it in. Like, I want the whiteout to be against Oregon. I want the whiteout to be against Ohio State, or I want the whiteout to be against, a crappy FCS school because it'd be funny. That's the type of customization we need, and I don't know if we're going to get that. And then it also says no mascot mode, which we already knew, and people were kind of complaining about that. I think people got over it. Nobody really played mascot mode anyways, let's be honest. Let's make them focus on things like Dynasty, stuff that's important. It seems like, they didn't invest a ton of time on the Road to Glory, but maybe they invested a ton of time on the Dynasty elements. Now, the things that I haven't heard, because people played this game, you would think, when it comes to the presentation, how is the scoreboard? How is the crowd? I don't want to load up a Temple Dynasty and see Lincoln Financial Field sold out. It's just totally unrealistic. Let's not do that. I didn't hear anything about it, but I'm just saying, you look at a program like Temple, Pittsburgh, they constantly have rows and rows and sections of empty seats, and then you play the video game and it's sold out every game. I'm not saying they're going to do this, and they normally don't do it, but just in general, I would like to see a real accurate depiction specifically of the teams that really struggle in terms of attendance to show, and then maybe you build the team up over time, you get sellouts, things like that. But I'm talking about the entire upper deck closed. That's what they really should have, because that's more realistic than just having fans dispersed, in all the sections. They actually wouldn't open up all the sections. It's more realistic to have the entire thing closed. That's nitpicking, I understand. But the thing, what about the scoreboard? I haven't heard anything about that. The presentation, and also how detailed is the Dynasty mode in terms of the stats and really your team's prior history, because we know that's a huge thing when it comes to building a team that's a Dynasty. You want to look back 7 or 8 years and see, how your players were and things like that. Obviously, you can't export them to the Madden, unfortunately, unless that's what we learned today, but you can just do it with your Road to Glory player. So that is basically the update here for the NCAA 25. Guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.